Today, I wanted to talk about something that has been on my mind and on my heart, and that is needing time away from your spouse. I know that sometimes people don't like to talk about this topic or they don't want to admit that they actually need space from their spouse. And as I'm talking to you right now, I am in an Airbnb, I am in a cottage, and I am away from my spouse, and everything is fine. So, the first time that I realized I needed space for my spouse was, I want to say, back in 2018. And I spoke about this to my therapist. I told my therapist, I just feel like I need to break away and I need space. And I also think I need space for my spouse, but nothing is wrong. And I asked her, how do I ask my spouse, or how do I tell my spouse that I need space, that I need time away? There's nothing wrong. I just need time alone. So I do identify as a highly sensitive person, which means that I recharge alone and by myself. There are certain things that I need to be okay. That could be more meditation, quiet time. I may need to go out in the middle of nowhere just to breathe. I'm not a big city person either. I like to be in open air, and my spouse enjoys being in big cities. So we are definitely opposite when it comes to that. I don't like loud noises. I'm very sensitive to smell as well. So my therapist said, well, why don't you just ask him? You don't know how he's going to react. My mind automatically went back to, when you needed time away from your spouse, that meant that something was wrong. Or being away from your spouse I don't know, if your spouse doesn't have trust issues, they may not trust you to be alone by yourself. So needing space from your spouse is not, I feel like it's really not talked about these days. And it's a topic that we do shy away from, especially people that have children feel like maybe they can't get away. But anyway, I brought it up to my spouse, and at first he was a little confused, rightfully so, because this is a new concept to some people, and I let him know that nothing was wrong, and I let him know what I needed. I needed to name my needs. We're so busy catering to everyone else that we forget to cater to ourselves. Especially, with the state of the world, I feel like you need to do whatever it is that you need to do to pour into yourself. So I let him know and explain myself. Long conversation short, he understood. And so back then in 2019, I went on a retreat by myself. Retreat meaning I went to a tiny house in the woods in a neighboring state. And that weekend I spent in quiet. I wasn't speaking to anyone. I let, some people know that I'd be away. I planned a little vacation for myself. It was really, really nice. It was just really nice to connect with myself in the woods, no technology, and, just planning time with myself. I went to the museum, I went to brunch, I took long walks, and it was a lot of self-reflection. And I came back recharged, and my husband noticed the difference. He's like, I feel like you really needed this, and I can tell the difference. And so he's on board, and I let him know that if ever you feel the need to get away, please let me know. Please don't. I'd much rather you let me know that you need space and time and nothing be wrong than you needing space and time in the midst of issues. So I guess my advice to you would be, think about it that way. So I let him know if ever you want to take a trip by yourself, if ever you need space to, collect yourself, just let me know. Give me a heads up and just make sure to stay in touch. So with the state of the world, I waited it out a little bit, but my husband and I went on a vacation Southwest, which was great. And I let him know that, I have a lot going on with work. I feel like I need another solo vacation. And he said, you deserve it. I agree. So I planned a solo vacation where I'm at right now, 2 hours away from home. And, I took myself on an apple picking date because I've always wanted to pick apples, and that was just refreshing. I spent time meditating, reading, journaling, cooking for myself, trying new things, and just being one with nature. I really love summer. And when it comes to summer ending, it's really hard for me. So just, taking in the last moments of summer and preparing my body for fall, this is what I needed to return to myself before I go back home so that I can be 100% for my husband and my family. So I keep in touch with my husband. He knows where I'm at and what I'm doing, which makes him even more comfortable. I make sure to check in. It's not like he's not hearing from me for an entire day. We don't have any kids. We just have a pet. But just sharing with him what I'm doing, like, it's totally cool. Like, I felt like, and I feel like I needed to get away to clear my energy field, to clear my aura, to cleanse myself inside out, to remove everyone from my energy field. That means not speaking to friends or family, just my husband, but I was starting to feel like everyone needed something from me, and it was just getting exhausting. Work is something different. Like, I know what it is. And sometimes the weekend at home is just not enough because you are constantly thinking of things that you have to get done. You may feel tempted to work or whatever. So I felt like I needed to remove myself out of my home environment and into a new environment to just cleanse my mind, body, and spirit. It's a very nurturing experience. So I highly, highly recommend it. I have shared that this is my second solo getaway with people that I know, and I feel like I kind of started something. Some women who are in relationships or are married, I let them know that I do these solo vacations, and they're very nurturing and fulfilling. And they would say, oh, I wish I could do that. Or why didn't I think of that? And I'm thinking, well, why wish that you can do that? Why wish that you can take a break instead of just communicating with your significant other to let them know how you feel and that this is for your mental health, and you can't pour from an empty cup. So I really hope that this video spoke to you in some way, shape, or form, but I just want to empower you to think about your needs. Like, what do you need to be okay? You're probably so busy catering to everyone else but yourself. Sometimes a hot bath isn't enough. Sometimes a walk alone for a few minutes isn't enough. Sometimes, being gone from home for an hour isn't enough. Sometimes you just need to be alone and quiet and just completely disconnect. That is very, very healthy. When you make time for yourself to pour into yourself, you're able to pour into other people. I know for me, being away, I'm able to hear better. I'm actually more creative. I come back home refreshed and with new ideas. And, I miss my spouse, and I miss my dog. Not to say that I don't love and appreciate them, but I have a deeper appreciation for them. So I just encourage you to just really think about it if you're able to just go on a retreat, with yourself. Do whatever it is that you're able to do financially. Just spend time with yourself, journal, paint, go for a walk. Just enjoy being in quiet, make a meal, just, enjoy being with yourself in your own company. If you think about it, you came into this world by yourself, and you're going to leave this world by yourself. So who better than to wine and dine and, treat than your damn self? So I challenge you to really, really sit with that thought and really think about it. And, maybe you realize that you don't know how to be alone. So that's another realization. So I just wanted to leave you with that. And I wanted to bring that concept up, and maybe even talk to your spouse and let them know that, hey, I need a little vacation by myself, whether it's for, a day or two or a weekend. And the best advice I have for you is just communicate with one another and let them know, as long as the trust and communication is there, there shouldn't be any issues at all. It's very, very healthy. So let me know what you think in the comments, and feel free to reach out, and thank you so much for watching.